What's up, everybody? This is your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog, coming to you on a Friday. Our desk is broke. I'm very upset. We had to Jimmy rig this camera. It's upsetting. So, long and the story short, you guys come in, drop your city and state, and listen. You ain't gotta like the combo, but I'm still gonna bring it. All right. This is your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog, author of the Smartphone Millionaire book, How to Invest in People, Businesses, and Real Estate from the Palm of Your Hand. I've been doing YouTube for 8+ years or so now at this point. I've managed several properties in different states, and I'm leaping forward to a bigger project. So I wanted to bring this up because as you go through your entrepreneur or small business journey, you may have hiccups and you may want to learn more things along the way. And one of those things you're going to learn, and this is also a combination of me coming from the South, coming from a farm region, coming from a region where you saw who owned the land and people that just worked on the land, right? We saw sharecroppers, we saw regular owners, right? We saw all that. So the title of this video is Old Money Means Management. And for those of you, please don't ruin it. I have not even seen Succession. Why? Because I'm a busy person. Now, the segments I saw out of for a video, I'm going to show here a little bit, like a segment I saw, I was like, that's spot on. I already knew. But in general, let's get into it. I'm going to go ahead and show a video from our lovely sponsors. And then we're just going to go on with this show at that point. Hold on one second. Give us a little bit of time for our sponsors. And you guys drop your city and state in the chat.
Dr. Alex Armour, and I just wanted to give a quick testimonial for Erica's Classy Climb YouTube channel. As a viewer of Erica's channel, I have to say that it's really been a great resource in keeping me up to date with some of the latest, grassroots issues that are part of this generation's entrepreneurship class. Now, I say this generation's entrepreneurs because I'm a Gen Xer, and the entrepreneurial environment, it really changes pretty drastically every 10 to 15 years. So I've been through quite a bit of change in the business world. During the coming of age of my generation, we thought we were doing pretty well to trade our time for money. Of course, as long as that amount of money was substantial enough to make sense. And we did pretty well for ourselves and our families, but the last 10 to 15 years has been a different kind of ball game, right? And I've been very excited by it. And I say all of that to say that Erica's channel has done an outstanding job of really curating informative and insightful content. And it's really helped me to enhance my knowledge and skills of the creator economy and what's going on in the market now. I certainly have plenty to offer the world as far as entrepreneurship and coaching and things of that nature. And I really like to stay updated on what's going on in the business world at many levels, from the very small businesses and small entrepreneurs to multinationals and, billionaire coaches, for example. So every level of the game. And so I just wanted to say that I've learned a lot from the videos on the Classy Climb channel. And even more important, I pass these tips along to my Gen Zer children all the time, whether they want to hear it or not. All the tips on operating in this digital real estate realm is really insightful to both the young and older generations. The content is really engaging and sometimes entertaining, but most importantly, it's useful and it's practical.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and cut that a little short today, but we love, the show is brought to you by theclassyclimb.com, classyclimbers.com. It is where all the courses are, everything. It is the hub. And perfect example today because we're going to be talking about hubs. We're going to talk about it. Let me go ahead and pull up this little thing I got here. I'm going to start here and I'm going to work my way back over to get to it. See if I can pull it up here. It's a little bit crazy, but we're gonna make it work. We're gonna do what it do. All right. So, oh Lord. Okay. So you guys probably see the screen. Let me see if I push the button. Make it a slotty show. But this was a quick, quick in and out of this. Let me know if y'all can see it. And okay, you should be able to see it in the big mode now. It should be big mode. All right, so here we go. Drop a one in the comments so you can see the screen. So I labeled the title of this management one because I'm weaker. So I apologize. Going to the next. If it'll let me, I think it will. Okay, I think y'all should be able to see it. And it says management. It says old money means management. You guys aren't ready for that conversation. So part of the conversation today is a lot of people, if you ask them online what it is they're looking for, what type of life they want to live, what type of opportunities they're looking to do, they give you all these scenarios of traveling nonstop, driving sports cars, having a personal trainer give them abs, and a diet nutritionist come cook meals at their house and go to the spa often. Unfortunately, a lot of people are describing what a wife of luxury, a wife of leisure is. So you got a lot of men folk describing to you leisure living of the wealthy, right? Like, I'm going to move to Colombia so I can pay $250 rent and leave this wealthy, beautiful life on American dollars, right? And that that only goes so far, right? So again, what does it mean when I say management? Now listen, for sake of argument, we're going to throw some cliche ones in there. Succession, the Bridgerton, right? Like people are like, oh, the Bridgerton, oh, Ericka, that's ridiculous. That's a romance show, but it teaches lots of great points, and that's the part we're going to use. Why are we going to use those two as example? Because let's just go there. 95% of all Americans that I know, or that society basically knows, they just want to goof off, watch football, have sex, eat good food, and laugh. And anytime you ask them real questions, it's like, what? Worry about yourself. Mind your own business. I don't need your help. It's that pushback stuff. So let's keep it moving. Okay. If you watch, or Downtown Abbey, excuse me, also put Downtown Abbey in this inclusion. If you ever watched Downtown Abbey, any of these older shows where, they had this estate, right? And everybody's got this estate, and it's got workers, it's got lawn keepers, it's got people inside the house, it's got people making sure the pipes move, it's making sure people bring ice, it's people working the cattle, it's people working the animals. There's all these people with jobs. And if one job doesn't get done, you can kind of carry each other's load for a little bit, but overall it starts paying attention, right? It starts being this big thing. Now, hold tight with me here. You're going to be like, oh, Ericka's reaching hard. Influencer hubs equal old time hubs. Now we can still go there with small business, but it's the same thing. I'm just going to give you this. So a lot of people have been talking about Mr. Beast, right? Mr. Beast has a house, very modest in North Carolina, Greenville, North Carolina. Then he bought the whole block near his home for his staff. Then he's just giving out millions of dollars, and he's just kind of recreating. He's putting a course together at East Carolina University, alumni here, right? And what he's doing is he's creating a hub of workers. What y'all didn't want to hear me when the frill was going out about, what's that white girl that be talking over there? Y'all know who I'm talking about? Pearly Things. Pearly Things is a hub. Pearly Things probably has like 30 plus people working for her. And not necessarily for her, but the company that hired her as the face, they have staff that are doing clips after clips and editing and slicing things and putting things together. So when you sit here saying, how can we combat against, people that shouldn't be in the space? You got to hire, right? She has a hub of people working nonstop to make sure content goes out and it looks a particular way. You may not want to hear that. You may not want to address that, but that's what's going on, right? So 30 to 100 people were in someone's hub, and they were responsible for them, right? If you look back at a lot of these shows, and I'm just using it for the easiest argument, but you can read a lot of books on this. If you look at Asheville, North Carolina, the people who are descendants from the family members who worked in that house, in that castle, that mansion, still live in the town to this day. Like, and proudly be like, my grandfather worked in the house. You know what I mean? We talk about serfdom. We talk about old European living. We have a society that's still based off that. No matter how much we dump tea in the parliament and we said, we're out of here. If you notice, the pendulum always swings back. What do I mean? When we look at people now who are jet setting on YouTube and internet, oh man, they must have great books. They must have great accounting. Their affairs are in order, right? We make fun of people who travel and have an emergency because they didn't have enough money to even really travel. And we go, on one hand, we go, well, that's a shame because they didn't have their affairs in order. On the other hand, we go, well, you live once. YOLO, do what you do, just go for it. And so we're educating people on these two frequencies, right? And so we're returning to that way. And I'm gonna show you where the IRS realizes we're turning that way. So the IRS has now refocused itself with 134 pages on influencers. But you'll see that in a second. I'm gonna keep going. Now, why does that matter? Why does having a staff, an estate, things you manage under your belt matter? Because in order back in the day to truly have a wife of leisure or a life of leisure, it came at the expense of managing small investments, small businesses, house, all done by a husband or a professional, right? There used to be these stories, these women get married to these older guys. Like this, where this fantasy that these people keep putting on the internet. I'm gonna just marry a girl 10 years younger than me, and it's gonna be so happy and joyful, and she's gonna have babies. If you actually look at the data, the past 100 years, on average, the age gap is 4 years. Now, when you go and you hear these Ace Boone Coons talking about, man, my grandpa was 20 years older than my grandma, and it was just fine. Dude, if your family was that poor in the 1940s and 50s that they had to pawn off your grandma, cool, dude. Like, that's a story you probably shouldn't be telling people. Because at the end of the day, when it became a wife, having a wife of leisure meant your husband was running affairs. That means companies, businesses, his profession, whatever it is he was doing, he was managing it, and he'd be so busy managing it and enjoying his own time that you would kind of be left to do what? Look over the maids, look over the nannies, look over the kids. But a lot of times the kids were managed by what? The nannies, right? So you're really just managing the nannies. Lawn care service, all that. People had a job around the profitable or productive person in society, right? And so sometimes in our minds we're thinking like real terrible slavery. We're just, if you just go back far enough, the Wild West, parts of Europe, you always had a sister or a brother. You had a certified bachelor, the brother that never married, right? Even the royals had those people. Then you had the spinster sister, and spinsters had two definitions at the time. It had a definition of this person made clothes and made enough money off helping and tailor clothes as a woman by herself that she was a spinster. She could live freely because she made enough money. Spinster. The other definition we have for spinster is a woman who is unmarried, right? It started to have a bad connotation. But you used to have a sister, or one or two sisters that never did get married, and they helped the family with what? Children raising, teaching school, etc., etc. Right? So those things flipped in 1950s in our head. The more we built suburbs and urban sprawl, and we got out of the inner city, we didn't have to be that connected. We could cut our own grass with our new fancy lawnmowers. We had these cars we could drive, right? Bob, that's not what the show is about. Bob, if you want to book a consult, you can. If not, if you're asking rando questions outside of the period what I'm talking about, I'm gonna block y'all today because I don't have time. I don't have time. All right. So these things flipped in 1950s, right? So now you have more women by the 80s, 30 years later, what? Women working, latchkey kids, right? And so we're getting back to where the pendulum is swinging back, y'all. Right? You hear all these people talking about, well, I'm going to go back to Mexico. I'm going to go to Colombia so that I can have a $25 a week maid, a $25 a week lawn care guy, and I can have a nanny and cooks and all that. They want to live a life of leisure. But the cost of a real life of leisure in America, they will never afford. Why? Because they have not managed what? Their affairs. Right? Let's go on to the next one. True wife of leisure. The honor meant your husband handled his affairs well. Your books were in order. He's a great manager. The staff follows systems, right? We ever heard that? Your books are in order. Those are old historic terms. He's a great manager, right? When your husband died all of a sudden or had a heart attack, all of a sudden you had this great, you know what I mean? This great opportunity, right? To see if he handled the books well. And if he did, it was like, oh, look at he left for his children. He left things for his family. Oh, look at this stuff. He left, land for his staff, all this stuff, right? Right. So again, but how did they have that? You had financial advisors, money managers, and bookkeepers. Nowadays, we think money managers and bookkeepers aren't necessary. Oh, we don't need that kind of people. I can look at my own money. I can invest my own stuff. And guess what? We only have so many hours in the day, right? So to think we're going to hyper manage, and I think Diamond Davis talked about this. If you just spend 18 minutes a day, maybe an hour a day reading, educating yourself on the markets, you will be above 95% of the population that is out here. And that's just truth, right? Because majority of persons, they want to be, an ant worker in the hub. And I'm going to show you articles that prove a lot of that point, that people just want to show up and like do a little bit and go home with some money. That's what they want to do, right? They really don't want to be managing themselves. So scaling and maintaining, right? When someone talks about, oh, Ericka, I'm a business owner, or I'm doing this, do you have someone to manage? Or do you pay management? These are serious questions. Do you have enough money enough income to hire? Do you make enough income to expand? Right? These are real serious questions, right? Okay, because let's just put it this way. The difference of Ericka right now and Ericka in a year or two from now is literally taking hyper focus, taking what we have and pushing it to scale, but in a different capacity, a different managing role, right? Because what you did to get, again, there's a great book out there. What got you here won't get you there. It's got a ladder on the front of it. And it's because that's true. A lot of times people think, well, I'm just going to do this on steroids. And that's not how it works. That's why Cardinal Ventures talk about breakpoints in business. What got you in the door won't keep you there, won't keep it moving, etc., etc. So when someone says, oh, I have a business, first thing I'm asking them, right? First thing I'm asking them is, oh, how many people do you have on staff? And what's funny is when I was telling people I have VAs, oh, VAs ain't nothing. Having a VA ain't nothing, Ericka. And I would just laugh because I'm like, you're not a person getting 150 emails a day on the most random stuff. You're not a person coordinating events across the nation. You're not a person coordinating contracts across the nation. You're not a person coordinating real estate activities across the nation. Again, be careful who you have your conversation with. The internet has made everybody think they're equal. They're not. But that's a whole nother conversation. Okay. So these are very important. Someone has to manage it. Someone has to pay attention. So if you have a man in society looking to be treated like a wife of leisure, and you have a wife trying to be a woman of leisure, who is going to look after the money? That brings us back to bookkeepers, financial managers, and financial advisors. So the other day we were dealing with Chase Bank, and they were like, oh, to be a private client, you got to have $50,000 just sitting in your bank account, and if you're a business, you got to have 150,000 sitting in your business account. Now, on one hand, people are going to be like, oh, I'm so proud to be a private member. And on the other hand, I'm laughing at them. Why am I laughing? Because having 50,000 just sitting in the bank, it doesn't help you. It helps the bank. It helps them loan out all that money into micro increments all across the whole United States. For you, if you got money just sitting in the bank, I'm going to tell you like this, and I told 2 bankers this, that's dead money. That's dead money. It's not putting money in my pocket. It's barely putting interest in my pocket. Yes, interest rates are now around 5% for CDs, but overall, if it's not moving and it's not creating more income, it's dead money, right? And that's the way you have to look at it. But people will really be like, oh, I'm a Chase private client. What that tells me is 2 things. You have no idea what to do with your money, and it's just sitting there at Chase's bank's disposal. Or 2, you've made so much in surplus that you can just leave that 50K there. I still wouldn't, but it's a way to work. It's a way to do things. Go to the next one. Again, assets equal reoccurring wealth. So many times people are like, oh, I live in a mansion in the middle of the jungle of Boca Raton, or in Colombia in the middle of nowhere, and it cost me $2. All right, dude, cool. What's the reoccurring wealth that comes into you monthly that can be used as a tool to maintain that mansion, right? We saw, I don't know if you guys saw photo videos we showed of Panama. A lady had built a mansion. Then she ran out of money and moved to Florida and passed away, right? So this mansion is just left behind to sell. Still assets for her family, distant, her next of kin. But at the end of the day, assets equal wealth, but assets should also equal reoccurring income. That is a true definition of money. Money is just a tool. It's just a tool, all right? It's something to, how many sticks can you own, right? If we were bartering in this country in sticks, we'd be trading in sticks. It doesn't matter. It's like, who would have the most sticks? I mean, at the end of the day, we can break it down to real simple stuff. But when people sit here and say, well, I don't own a home and I lease my cars and I don't have a 401k because it's a ripoff and I just got some crypto. Well, how much crypto? I got $2 in crypto. Sir, get out of here. This delusional stuff, get out of here, man. Get out of here. Assets equal wealth. Assets equal reoccurring income. Assets equal true definition of money, right? Go on here, historical old assets, a farm, a small building that you're renting to a business, a small building you're renting to people, a small business they were over, land, right? So when you look at, I'm just using for example, of course, Bridgerton, like when the father died of a heart attack, I think that's what they said happened in the show. The oldest son had to start managing the books, and he was so frustrated. He was like, "Hey, we got to cut back on this. We got to cut back on this spending. We got to cut back on all this stuff." And they're looking at him like, "Why are you angry all of a sudden?" Because he had been removed from the role of just a brother living leisurely, enjoying his life, partying, drinking, to now having to look at the numbers and look at the books and realize, "Oh man, I'm responsible for the other 7 siblings plus the long-term care and wealth of my mother." Right? So this is what made, when people say, what is old money? Old money is truly management. It's estate planning. When we talk about nepotism, we talk about, Deion Sanders is getting his son in there. Of course. And with all that YouTube money he gonna make sure every single child has a well-rounded, well-funded future. A well-vested future. Deion Sanders' grandkids are gonna have a completely different life, even from what Deion Sanders' children had, right? People are like, "Oh, Deion Sanders' children were like lived with a star-studded dad." Baby, his grandchildren gonna live like gangbusters. They're gonna be at the private schools. They might all be half white by then. Who knows? It don't matter. You love who you love, marry who you wear. I'm gonna let that go. But at the end of the day, you're talking about a completely different generation, because the first one had to hustle. But if you look back historically, even in small towns, you can go through every small town in America, and I bet you there's like 5 to 10 families. They own 85% of the town. 85% of the town. Pinky Blinders. Correct. Thank you. I love Pinky Blinders. I stopped because it got a little too much for me. I watch TV shows in a marathon. If I can't get it done in a week or two, I'm out of there. I just have to take a break. I'll come back later, right? Because I'm trying to do what? Manage activities. So even if I lived back in North Carolina, my goal at the time was trying to get a small commercial building that I could rent out the other locations in the building, right? If you go through some of the small North Carolina towns now, there's Hispanic people who have whole plazas. Why? Because the original owner sold them the building on owner financing, and now he turns around and rents every section of the buildings out, right? And so everybody's making money off what? That reoccurring rental income. And the person who owns the shop, they want to keep their shop open. So they're getting credit. They're making sure their staff come to work. They're making sure they make sales. I don't know if you guys understand where I'm going with this, but this all shows to get to another level requires responsibility and management, right? Everybody wants to live and play in the water and frolic and have free time. Someone has to sacrifice, right? So even if you still have a farm, right? Even now when I drive to Yellowstone, there's big giant farms, and you call them ranches depending on how far west you go out. The more west you go, you call them ranches. They're putting little cookie cutter made cottages. They look like old wooden cottages, but they're like the modern stuff. And they put them on the edge of the property and be like, "Hey, you're 10, 20, 30 miles from Yellowstone. You can stay here at night for 162, 269, 396, right?" So the person gets to stay in this historically looking cabin and look out across this big ranch. Right? They can't walk over there, but they can look at it from the back of the cab. They can look at all that stuff. Look at the buffalo. Look at the horses. Look at people working. And the owner of that farm gets to what? Reap the money off people doing what? People sitting out there daydreaming about historical living, basically. Right? There's a place I go to, and I will be going to it again this year. It's near Bear Lake. It's dressed like the 1800s wagon wheel. They got like old wagons. They've got American Indian teepees and the old mining field tarps, and people get to live out there and with electricity and AC and heat. It's crazy, but it's a way for the person who owns the land to what? Keep the land, make money off of it, and you do what? Talk about it on social media. Okay. Okay, teaching your kids to manage, right? So some people are like, you don't have kids, it's Mother's Day weekend. Today I went to the store and the lady was like, Happy Mother's Day. I was like, do I get anything for it? No. Then I'm not a mother. That's what I told her. If you give me something free at the store, oh, thank you. Yes, Happy Mother's Day. Yes, I'll take it. But at the end of the day, teaching your kids how to manage, you have to have something for them to manage, right? So a lot of times I watch the shows on YouTube where the guy is cutting the grass for free. He's cutting the grass for free. He's trying to help the families. The yard's overgrown. And 9 times out of 10, they got kids. They got 11, 12, 13, 14-year-old boys, big as a house, eating and living good, yards growing up to the kneecaps. First things first, unless those kids have a physical disability, that's the first thing they should be managing is the yard. Cutting the grass, weeding, that's their project. If they want to get paid from you, they need to do that. The other day we showed, oh boy, somebody asked to borrow $50 from him. And he said, listen, man, I'll give you 100 if you cut my yard of grass, and I'll give you another 100 if you go cut my baby mama's yard because I'm busy this week and I can't cut it. The dude told him, man, I ain't doing all that. I'm going to give you the 50 back when I got a chance. Now think about that. This dude turned down $200, right? $200 because he was required to what? Exchange for work. Right? So he already reached out to old boy for the 50 and he ain't going to give it back. So I like how old boy's like, hey, how about I give you 100? Give it like a gift. You ain't got to pay it back if you just come cut my grass and cut my baby mama's grass. But 100 for each yard. Think about that. He had enough. It's a man. It's a man asking another man for $50. He had enough gall to ask for the money because he knew that person has money. This is why I keep telling y'all, we are returning back, not necessarily all the way to serfdom, but taxes are taking us close. But taking it to a point where you're liable and responsible for the hub that's near you if you make a lot of money. Point blank, period. If you're a small business owner right now, there's a few YouTubers here in Austin, Texas. They have like 50 employees. And if you ever watch them on the videos, thank God they're a visionary. The other person's an integrator. And that person's really managing the office because they're filming YouTube. The people are walking around filming them. They got staff filming them. It's a full-time job. So even this summer, as I literally take somewhat of a break here, and I also hire more staff to make clips, do stuff, do a bunch of technical media stuff coming up here in the next couple weeks. I'm going to work on other projects. I'm going to go manage other things. Why? Because that's really, when you look back on people who old money, real old money, it's they did have other property. They did travel well, right? They did vacation in different places, but they used to have what? A house in the Carolinas and a house in Florida, right? Even to this day, we have a bunch of old Victorian houses in North Carolina that descendants live in New York City. The Victorian houses are falling into the ground in parts of North Carolina mountains because the wealthy people, once they saw the Vanderbilts, they came down and started building little Victorian mansions, you know what I mean? In the middle of mountain area, North Carolina, middle of near Charlotte areas, right? And so what they did is now those houses are just rotting in the ground because who's the manager? It's their descendants. Their descendants haven't made a decision to come back to North Carolina. It's not important to them. They don't need a vacation house. They don't care, right? And that's when you talk about people who have multiple assets that they can let go of. Because what y'all don't understand is when I sit here and talk about how a huge portion of our population is getting older, their kids are going to want to liquidate those assets for cash money. If they have not been taught to manage it, they will want to liquidate those things for cash money. And that's why you will always have people who are going to be wholesalers. You're always going to have people who are buying and flipping land because if these people have not taught their kids how to manage something and they have nothing for them to manage, the person's first step is going to be to sell it. Right? We did this before. I'm not going to do this right now, but I did a whole breakdown of 100K life to y'all before. And I was laughing about it because really, really the truth of it is like, if you just do the simple math, and I challenge you all to do this on your free time today. There's 245 people here. Hit the like button. If you're liking the content so far, drop a 1. I'm getting ready to switch over to some news articles here. If you do the simple breakdown, and I'm saying for me, I'm going to just say it for me real quick. Why am I aiming for a $5 million line of credit? right? Because I want to grow my things I manage and assets in the future I want to buy, right? Right? Hush it up over there. So 100K life, what does that look like, right? We do the simple math last time on a couple shows ago where let's just say massages. I want a massage every Friday, right? I need a facial once a month, right? We get our nails done once a month, right? We just start adding these little things in that you want to do. I'm not even talking about need, thriving, live. I'm talking about want to do. Cryotherapy, right? We're talking about massages. Eating out on a dinner night, right? How many times a month do you want to go on a dinner night with your spouse? Is it just one Friday a month? Okay, that's 12 Fridays a year. Is that enough? Is it every Friday? That's 4 Fridays in a month. That's 48 Fridays in a year, right? So you have to do this math, this true math, not this idyllical math, because the number one reason people are getting divorced is because they can't match up on money and lifestyle. And honestly, I think it's because both men and women want to have a life of leisure and they have done nothing to earn it. They won't do the math, right? So if you already know, man, I just added up all the costs. I want to go on a vacation. Let's just say keep it simple. 3 times a year, long vacations, 2 week long vacations. And you do the math, you're like, dang, I'm gonna need 100K, right? So when people talk about, well, I'm gonna just go overseas. I'm gonna just go to Europe. Cool, you can go to Europe and you can spend a year or two traveling. Off what money? Off what reoccurring income? This is why you looked online and a lot of the passport bros had to come back home, right? After they backpack traveled for 2 years, their backs hurt, they tired of sleeping on cheap accommodations. Women even in those countries expect you to have some money. They come back. You can look at several channels showing you that. They come back. They don't have it. Now I want you to travel and live your life, but just be honest with yourself. Family offices. What are family offices? Again, we'll do a whole, let me stop here. We've done several videos. I have another video I'm going to do later this week at the studio. So I have time I'm going to be really spending at the studio on family offices and why they're important and why your family is the family that does A, right? Your family is the family that owns all the car washes in the town. Your family is the family that owns all the carpet cleaning, right? And don't get it twisted. I know a family right now who they own 2 different carpet cleaning companies, and what they will do if they get busy at one, they start right. They go over and they give what? They give the money and the activity over to the second business. When we were in Fayetteville and they had a historical storm come through, my mom tried to turn on the fireplace. It smelled horrible. We're like, turn it off. Something's in there. Stuff. We got to get the chimney cleaning people out. There's only 3 in town. We call the first one. They say, look, man, it's going to be 8 weeks before we can get to you. What? He said, but you can call this one and this one and tell them we sent you. So we call the second one. Hey, man, it's going to be 4 weeks before we can get to you. I said, okay. They're like, but you can call the other company. I said, well, the other company said to say they sent them. He said, okay, go ahead and do that. We called the last company. He's like, man, we can get there Tuesday. I said, what? He said, yeah, we're picking up all the slack for the other 2 companies in town. Now, in my mind, I didn't think, is this guy the 3rd worst company in town? Why are their schedules not booked up? I didn't think any of that. I literally simply thought these people are related because I looked at the last name. I looked at the age. I said, they made this 3rd company. You're not going against competition. You're going on the 3rd company. Now, I talked earlier with someone special to me, and he talked about how he worked for a carpet restoration, right? Where you have the water damage in your apartment or your house or whatever. And they went and did all these contracts in multiple cities. And I was like, you know why? Because it only takes 1 or 2 companies to really just throw their foot in the door. And if other companies have had success with you, they'll keep pushing that same company. So well, don't you think if I'm making money like gangbusters and I quotation marks make a second company, now really the Smith family controls all the what? Carpet cleaning, chimney cleaning in the town. Right? You don't know that, but they know that. And so a lot of times that's how I look at family offices. They're just taking it next level. Hey, we have this many dental offices or we have this much focus, and they can bundle and package themselves as the experts to pension funds, fire department pension funds, teacher pension funds, Because really all those pension funds need about 4 to 5% returns. Now, in order for a family office to make it make sense, they've got to do what? Get 20% returns on their money. And then turn around and make sure their people get paid and the pension fund gets paid. That's the simplest answer I can give on that for that. But when people say, Ericka, influencers are not the next small hubs. They are. Let me show you another clip here. Let me show you this clip. Because again, here's the funny part. Many of these people, somebody's in the comments kind of being funny. And I just want to let y'all know, listen, you're going to see what a lot of y'all want to see is G-Wagons and penthouses and goofy stuff. You don't know what real money looks like. You don't know what real long-term business looks like. And that's okay. Keep buying G-Wagons. I'll see you in 10 years. So, all right, here's this one. I thought y'all should hear this one. The audio should be up. Let me know if you can hear it.
Tart trip. That's right, the IRS is coming after you. The IRS just released its 134-page guide for auditing entertainers, and it's heavily focused on influencers. So what are some of the things that the IRS is going to be looking for? First and foremost, they want to make sure that you're paying self-employment tax on all that income and that you're reporting all of your gifts as income as well. That especially applies to all the folks that are going to Formula One or to Turks and Caicos. That hotel room is your income, and hopefully Tart is giving you a 1099. As you can also see, there's a whole section on makeup, physical fitness, wardrobe, and image and appearance. So obviously the IRS is also watching all the you TikTokers who are claiming that everything you buy for your TikTok is tax deductible. If you are an influencer and have any questions about your taxes, feel free to reach out. If you are an influencer, you have bigger problems than the room you got on that Tart trip. That's right, the IRS is coming after you. The IRS just released its 134-page guide for auditing entertainers, and it's heavily focused on influencers. So what are some of the things that the IRS is going to be looking for? First and foremost, they want to make sure that you're paying self-employment tax on all that income and that you're reporting all of your gifts as income as well. That especially applies to all the folks that are going to Formula One or to Turks and Caicos. That hotel room is your income, and hopefully Tart is giving you a 1099. As you can also see, there's a whole section on makeup, physical fitness, wardrobe, and image and appearance. So obviously the IRS is also watching all the you TikTokers who are claiming that everything you buy for your TikTok is tax deductible.
All right, did everybody just hear that? Did everybody hear what they're doing to influencers? They created 134 pages at the IRS, right? Because everybody's out here thinking they're funny and slick and posting, actually just being honest, straight up lies about tax deductions and write-offs. Oh, honey, there is an agent right now watching the goofy stuff y'all are saying, watching it with they naked making notes, they building a case as we speak. When we talk about PPP, like I'm not even worried about PPP for most people. I'm worried about these videos that y'all don't put out here. I'm gonna give you the play. Don't. Anytime I hear the word play, I turn off the video because y'all ain't about to get me caught up, okay? Because I know a lot of this stuff isn't a play, okay? I pay money to be in masterminds, and I literally sat in ones where people are breaking down insurance step by step. I literally sat in a group and they're like, you're gonna put yourself as a W-2 employee. And people in the group were like, oh man, I don't wanna. But they did it. Me and a couple people did not. When it came to ERC and other loans and EIDL, they were able to get much smoother process because they did what? Follow the rules, right? So many people want to fight you. Oh, Ericka, you don't know what rich people doing. Yeah. Listen, just because you have a desire to be a UPS driver and just do that all day and night doesn't mean other people don't know what they're talking about, okay? Again, just because it's not in the G-Wagon doesn't mean it's not there. It's not real. So let me go ahead and show you this article because don't worry, there's 134 pages. The IRS, they see you. They got somebody watching you. That's cool. Y'all keep doing them dumb TikToks y'all doing. Go ahead. They coming for you. Now here's this. This is why when I say people literally, if you gave people an option to be a sharecropper again, they would take it. If you gave people options to work under somebody's house and not have to be responsible for themselves, they would take it. And I know y'all think that's offensive, but I'm just being honest. So this article, and there's many more like it, just as example. I've been a UPS driver for almost a decade. Having the same route every day is soothing. And I love that no one tells me what to do. Now, if you go down deeper into the article, if you go down deeper into it, if I can, let me slide down. The person says repeatedly, let's get back to it. They say other people might get bored doing the same thing and being alone for 10 hours a day, but that's what I like. I had a pretty typical experience getting hired. There's a lot of pressure to be on time, right? Because people get next day packages. Talking about parking kids. He's like, you're not allowed to drive more than 10 hours. He's like, I love just driving by myself, listening to sports and talk and golf podcasts and even union podcasts. But I always make sure I can hear any sounds from traffic and pedestrian. I know other drivers like switching it up, keeping things interesting, but that doesn't appeal to me. I wouldn't be feel comfortable doing something I didn't already know. I bring my lunch every day because I'm pretty dedicated to my health and fitness. If I didn't bring my lunch, I would end up eating pizza at McDonald's every day, which would be unhealthy and expensive. I'm sorry. Woo. Okay, anyway, you can read this, but here's what I want to express out of this article, which I think you guys might be hearing the smartainess in my voice, is a lot of people rather just show up and you just show them, can I just do one thing in a circle every day? Can I just do this one thing every day? And I really don't have to be accountable to anybody. I really don't have to talk to anybody. I don't have to show how fast I did it. I just have to get the packages out. Can I just do that? These are the same people if offered today. Hey, can you just come work on this big ranch? Again, Yellowstone is so popular because of what? People see the guys that work the ranch. You know, some of them used to be ex-convicts. Some of them are hobos. Some of them are broke up rodeo cowboys. And they just have a free room and board as long as they get up every day and work. And people think, man, that's awesome. The good old days, right? There's a lot of people in our society who would gladly. Again, I'm from North Carolina where our friend that I told you, I always tell y'all the Marine story about my friend who married the girl. He worked on a pig farm for not great pay, but it gave him a free trailer, a free Ford pickup truck that he could drive and go back to community college back and forth and go do. And he could just go walk out there all weekend. He loved it. And there are people in our society who love that. When I worked at Lowe's as a manager, they used to tell us, don't ask people, do they want to move up? Let them ask. And I thought, well, that's kind of crazy. And he said, because we have wall builders. Don't pressure them to do anything else. I remember talking to people who've been working at Lowe's for 15 years. And I was like, ain't you tired of coming in here dealing with people? And they were like, no, I don't want to be a manager. I don't want to be a shift leader. I just want to come in here and shake up paint every day. I mean, you had real people like that. And they were dead serious. And so when I tell y'all about how the pendulum always swings back, you have a lot of women watching other women spend time feeding their babies, loving on their babies, having time, right? You see men out here watching other men having all this free time. So everybody thinks, well, if I should just not work, I should just go do what I want to love. I want to go sleep in the van every day down by the river. That's what I want to do. Not realizing gas costs. It costs money somewhere to pay for these things, right? This is why you saw a whole bunch of YouTubers, when they made YouTube money, they quit sleeping in the van. They bought a piece of land. They built a tiny home, or they built a cabin, right? Because that was never really, the real goal was never to be in the van. That's the story they're telling you. The story was, I just need some money, right? So this is this one on this one. Let me give you another one. Let's see if I can show you this one. So, okay, here it is. These two, let me see. So I have two. I have a couple more. See if I can get one in. It's 44 minutes in. Ooh, y'all. Sorry. Let me finish. All right. So next one, I'm gonna show these two real quick, and then I'm gonna go to next. Okay. So this is old money aesthetic. This is a trending topic. It's called old money aesthetic on YouTube, and you can look, and there's just countless old money 1980s to your heart drops. Okay. One of the best videos they made 3 days ago says how a broke generation became obsessed with old money style. right? So there's like 3 Instagram men I follow, and they wear trousers and button ups, and I'm thinking, man, what do they do for a living? Right? That's the first thing I'm thinking. Man, where y'all dressing up? Where y'all going? And one of the dudes basically said he just gets the free clothes from the companies and puts them on. Right? But you can make a business out of anything, right? So we'll just go there. But it talks about old money style. It's this return to like simplistic living. And I want to do the summer up north. And I want to do my falls in Colorado. And I want to do my winters. You know, this talk of this amazing living. The closest a lot of these people are to get is van life. Oh, I did the spring in here. I did the summers here. You dig what I'm saying? So and so it's quite hilarious, but you can look through this. This is one of the number one, you know, old money aesthetic. Is just viral, right? Again, what happens is some of these influencers, they've actually found out some of these people parents are very well got money, so they got this perfect camera, this perfect audio. The one that cracks me up the most is Pioneer Woman. Pioneer Woman's family is one of the wealthiest families. And yet they act like if you say one bad thing about Pioneer Woman, they'll cut you. Let me see if I can pull it up. Do y'all know I'm talking about, Pioneer Woman? Put up one in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. Let's see if I can pull it up here. Pioneer Woman. Let me see if I can get her up real quick. I'm gonna show you real quick. Here you go. Let me see if I can pull this up. And this goes in this whole conversation about old money hubs, old money circles. It's like people, they're feeding you as the example or not. And that's why it's funny to me. But here's the Pioneer Woman, because it's like 2 seconds of reading will open up your mind. So this is the Pioneer Woman, right? And what's funny is there's a whole TikToker who made a whole a ranting series about people with money, right? Because there's one young lady who father is like works with Bill Gates or something. They have a ton of money, but she has this old timey stove and refrigerator, and they make their own clothes. And people are like, this is so amazing and wholesome. Well, then somebody did a whole rant, like, you do know who her father is, right? You do know that stove you guys are looking at behind her is $60,000 and the refrigerator is $10,000. You will not live your life like her. She's living a whole different life, right? This is why it's funny, right? So this is Pioneer Woman. If you actually go look up right here, right? So you're seeing all these beautiful people, you know, they got them a little lotto kid, you know, a little half black. Look at this, so beautiful, right? That's so nice. But if you actually look up Pioneer Woman and her family, they are actually the top 5 landowners in the whole state. And if you actually see, like, she has, you know, now she has this show, and she owns a couple different restaurants in town and a couple different buildings in town now, and she has a line at Walmart you can buy, and look at my kids, you know, they're just out here living these wholesome lives, traveling. With what money? Right? And this is the funny part. This is why this is comical. This kitchen is a $170,000 kitchen, right? So again, you know, tour the Pioneer Woman's test kitchen. Her kids are doing Jackson, Wyoming, all winter and all spring. You guys do the math on it. You guys do the math on it, okay? So she's showing you, like, I'm just a mom with all these kids, you know, we're just living our American dream. And, you know, don't ignore the fact that our family is the biggest landowner in all of the state. Ignore the fact that my children are going to school, college for free. Now, again, Clarence Thomas, you know, people love talking bad about Clarence Thomas, and I'll go there briefly. Clarence Thomas' nephew went to a very illustrious Ivy League school that got a donation from a donator, how are you going to say it, for $100,000 a year. So, of course, now Clarence Thomas, they come around with the, hey, would you like to do the student loan forgiveness? Oh, no, we would never do that. We'd never vote on that. Why? He ain't worried about you. His nephews and his family members are going to college. Are absolutely free via donors, which is illegal, but that's a whole nother conversation. And so what people are trying to convince you of, and this is another one. Let me pull this one. I got like 3 more. Oh, what time is it? It's 49. Okay. Okay. Keep going. Try to get as many in as I possibly can. This is the other one. Old money luxury. Okay, now if you go here, Right here. This is the one I watched. It's called Succession. Old Money versus New Money Explained. Right now, this I have not watched a episode yet of Succession. Do not throw stones at me. I am a busy woman managing projects. Okay, so Succession on here, they're like, they got money, they're rude, they're doing all those things. They're the first generation hustle, hustle, hustle. Their daddy's really first generation, they're second generation. They don't have manners. They're doing too much, right? They're just doing too much. But the other old family that they're interacting with, they don't work. And they categorize themselves as just plain simple people. We're just simple folks. Right? You ever see Warren Buffett? He's like, I'm just a simple person in an old house making billions of dollars. Right? So that particular, this is kind of a recap of it, showing the difference is their family don't even work. Like, what is work? They just do what? Have managers that manage the money, and money's in their bank account. That is two different levels, y'all. Right? And that's why it's comical. Y'all come on YouTube and go, well, that person, it's because they have great lights and great video. And there's several people, like the top Black YouTubers are mostly Nigerian, except for 7. And if you actually go look at their background, they were a doctor, lawyer. Money would do. I make fun of him all the time. He was an engineer, and he just decided, I'm going to open up a business, a supplement company. It's making tons of money. It's great. Now he's got a mortgage broker license. What y'all will learn is the more y'all bump into some of these people, they don't aspire to do nothing. That's not true. Very competitive and do not aspire to not do nothing. A lot of them have work, have something they manage. Even the brother in the show, which goes off and gets his own farm in a whole nother state because he can't compete in that race. He can't win in that race. So he's like, I'm going to just go over here and do this. Right. So again, this channel is very, I like it. Some of the videos are spot on. It talks about the Gilded Age, powerful families, Massachusetts. It talks about some Chicago billionaire row, the Hamptons. Again, it is the luxury of, I have a friend who thinks he works very hard. And I'm not taking anything from him, but he thinks he works so very hard. And his grandfather sent him to $100K a year college, him and every grandchild in his family. And he gave him $800 a month. Now, if you ask my friend, $800 a month for their whole college year. So let's put that together. There's like 5 grandchildren. All of them are going to $100,000 a year school for free. And then their grandpa gives them $800 a month each so that they can focus on their studies. And still 2 or 3 out of the 5 could not finish college. I don't know if y'all know this, but 46% of most people going to college right now are a second generation alumni. They're children of the alumni. They're getting they got a little help getting into school, a little favor. And so if you talk to my friend, oh man, I worked so hard all through college and I worked so hard after college. I go, do you understand you left college with no debt? That's you, not just you, your cousins who didn't finish left with no debt, right? You left with money every month. If you were a young man who wasn't trying to get married and have horses and goof off, you could have lived on $800 a month, easy. Kept it moving, right? So this is why when people try to have this conversation with me, like, oh, my whole family went to college and but did they go for free? Did they go for free? Was somebody putting money in their pocket every year, every month? No. Okay. All right, if you say so. So here's the next one, because I'm not going to win all of you on all the arguments. That's not what I'm trying to do whatsoever. But I got this one, and then I'm going to go over to the politician side of things for very briefly. Let me show you this. Oh, there's 279 people here. Hit the like button. We're 53 minutes in. I know it's going a little long, but I'm gonna try to get y'all where we need to be. And again, this is where people think I'm middle class, Ericka. This doesn't apply to me. Well, let's just go here. Let's go ahead and tidy that thought up. Kids with autism growing up in middle class families have the worst health outcomes, and it comes down to money. Let me read that again for y'all. Kids with autism growing up in middle class families have the worst health outcomes, and it comes down to money. A lot of people think they're middle class, but when they tell you, how much do you make a year? If 75 million Americans are making $30K to under $40K a year, really $30K, $500 a year. And they're running around telling you they're middle class. How? If you stop working, it stops flowing. You're working class, right? Even in situations like myself, I have a few months I can take off and sit down and go, well, I don't have to be doing videos. I don't have to run around. Okay, I have my food, my lights, and my bills. I could go travel, see my family a couple times and do nothing. But that's after years of well-orchestrated life. You dig what I'm saying? So anyway, so let me just go down this article a little bit. Middle class income households are likely to have accesses to resources like Medicaid and food stamps. Now, who are they pitting them people with? They're immediately pitting the middle class family against the poorer families that are on Medicaid and food stamps, which is ludicrous. One factor making it hard for families with kids is autism to meet their medical needs. Public health insurance and officials help families. It is not the government's job, and I know y'all don't want to hear this because this sounds very rude. It's not the government's job to take care of your injured children. It really isn't. If they offer help and assistance, it's greatly appreciated. But honestly, this is where people are mislabeling themselves. They think, right? Now, if you look up Robert De Niro, 79 years old, and just had a baby with his 51-year-old or 56-year-old girlfriend. I don't even want to understand or know, right? He says it was planned, but keep it moving. He has a younger son that is a tennis professional. Now, why is this so important? His son that's a tennis professional is autistic. Robert De Niro has an autistic son that is living a full-fledged life. Now, you're going to say, but Ericka, you don't know he's on the spectrum. You don't know where he's at on this. Y'all, when they showed younger pictures of this kid, I was like, oh my God, this poor kid. Now it's showing him as an adult. I'm like, what did they do? It's money. They put this kid through all kind of health care, all kind of money, all kind of vitamins, all kind of training. And now he plays tennis. He may not be very chatty after the tennis, but he plays tennis. And this is where people don't want to hear this part. This is the part nobody wants to hear, okay? So if you go down here, scroll down some more. Children with autism from middle-income families or households at 200% or 399% of federal poverty line actually had worse health outcomes. Let's keep on going. They had few resources. They weren't eligible for many things. What does that tell you? Now, you're going to say, Ericka, we need to give more resources. This is the number one thing California, New York people say. We need to give more resources. Resources mean let me steal from my neighbor and give it to you. No, what this means is if I'm a parent of a child with needs, I need to make what? A lot of money. You make a lot of money because it's going to be bad. If I don't make a lot of money, one of us has to decide. One of the parents has to decide we're going to make a lot of money so this child can have a good life. Does that make sense? What's saying to y'all? All right, let me go to the next one. Now you're going to say, Ericka, why you have to do us like that? I had to. I'm sorry. I apologize. Let me go over here to this one. Now you're going to say, Ericka, Diamond Dave did a great show the other day talking about what are your politicians sent up there to do? What are the politicians sent up there to do? They're supposed to be fighting on your behalf. Supposed to be tackling things for you, but look what they're doing. Let me show you what they really are doing.
My very eyes. Meet Congressman Jared Moskowitz, who back on February 24th bought shares in the pharmaceutical giant Merck for $109 a share. Just 1 month later, on March 30th, news comes out that Merck, the company he just bought, was rewarded a government contract from the Department of Health. And guess how much that was? A $483 million government contract, which obviously is good news for the stock. Moskowitz is now 8% up on that trade, but that's not the point here. Turns out, Moskowitz literally sits on the Committee of Oversight and Accountability, whose job literally is to investigate and govern politicians to make sure they don't overstep their power. Week after week, I make these videos calling politicians out, but nothing changes. Which is why I've been building Autopilot, a way for you to copy trade their stock picks automatically. Because I think the more we can highlight the hypocrisy of them trading, the higher chance we have at getting them banned from doing it. This just...
All right, are you ready? Are you ready? A U.S. congressman has been arrested George Santos, Republican, has been charged with fraud for applying for COVID government relief while making $120,000 a year at an investment firm. He is also charged for theft of public goods and falsifying financial disclosures. Again, this boy has this channel and he has it set up in Nigeria. And I know why he's doing that, because they're trying to get him taken down repeatedly. And so again, I like the post because I do. Again, you can go through here and you will laugh your head off. And
This man just cannot miss. Remember the videos I made about Dan Goldman? The man who literally represents the financial district and Wall Street? Well, he's now an option to be copy traded on autopilot because of this. Back on March 6th, he sold his entire position in the bank Pacific Western. Just 4 days later, on March 10th, news comes out that the major Silicon Valley bank was in deep trouble, which sent Pacific Western Bank down 50% in just that week. Now fast forward to yesterday, where Pac Western reported an absolutely terrible earnings report, which sent the stock down another 60%. Meaning, by him selling out back on March 6th, he saved himself almost 87% in potential losses. And if that wasn't enough, he did the same exact thing with another bank, Western Alliance. Sold out on March 6th and saved himself 75% in potential losses. This is why everyone has been asking for a way to copy trade. Because if they're going to do it, we might as well copy them. Check it out for yourself by searching autopilot. This man just cannot miss. Remember the videos I made about Dan Goldman? The man who literally represents. This just continues to happen. Meet Democrat Lois Frankel, who back on March 16th disclosed selling her entire position in First Republic Bank. She then took the proceeds from that sale and on March 22nd bought stock in the major bank, JP Morgan. Now here's where it gets interesting. Fast forward to a couple days ago where news comes out that First Republic Bank, the bank she sold, is going bankrupt and being taken over by the FDIC, which obviously tanked that stock. But by selling out on March 16th, she avoided losing another 90% on that investment. Now, guess which bank ended up buying First Republic? Yup, JP Morgan, the bank that she bought back on March 22nd. And since buying JP Morgan on March 22nd, she's up over 9% on that trade. So instead of losing 90%, she gained 10%. And although these trades came out after we could copy them, I'm going to continue tracking the trades that we can make money on and copy them automatically through this.
All right, so I'll pause there. I hope everybody can hear me. I'll pause there. Do y'all understand what I'm just doing? Y'all understand where this is going? I literally told y'all, we're kind of reverting back to a hub influencer method where we have little staffs of 30 and 100 people and we take care of our people and, rah, like Grant Cardone Ventures, all of them were teaching that, like, yeah, man, take care of your people, give them bonuses. A lot of the training I'm receiving now as a business owner is, oh yeah, like go ahead and put some CFOs over there, put some COOs over there and just let them make that company make money for you for the next 10 years. And I'm telling y'all, when Graham Stephan's like, oh, I'm done being out here, I'm done making videos and stuff. Y'all, they don't have to make another video. YouTube's still pushing all his old stuff. You can chill. Why am I showing you the Congress? Why am I showing you this? Because their full-time job is to go up and represent people from their district and fight for, hey, my district needs roads. My district needs bridges. North Carolina had like 150 bridges, old-timey bridges, get like F, right? And there's tons of money being poured into the state, but it goes to Raleigh, Durham, Charlotte, Fayetteville, military town, and East Carolina, because all the money they're making off the college students, they're putting it into the town, right? And so your congressperson is supposed to go up there and fight for what your district is desperately needing. You knew it was off the tracks when the guy said, well, I got to maintain a home back in my district, and I have to maintain a home where the capital is, right? We have issues right now in North Carolina where there's a guy who represents Fayetteville. He actually bought a house for his mother-in-law, quotation marks, in Raleigh. He don't even be in Fayetteville. And so they're like, dude, you don't even represent this city no more, Why is this important? I am not a trader. I am a buy and hold person. I personally went over to the link. And again, he's not paying me for this at all. Let me see if I can share. He's not paying me at all for this. It's an app. And again, use at your own discretion. I'm not your financial advisor. I'm just sharing my opinions and what I'm investing in, right? So again, it looks like this when you're on the desktop. When you're on your phone, it looks different. But it's money management reimagined. Copy trade investors like Nancy Pelosi, Mike Burry, and Warren Buffett. Why is this so important? This kid is having to base his Instagram out of Nigeria. We know he don't live in Nigeria, but he's got to base it out of Nigeria. And he has an app. And you know the government they're not laughing. Okay? If you look down here at the $12 million, can y'all see the bottom part where it says $12 million? Can y'all see it? I made it bigger. Trusted by investors working at Google, Tesla, Verizon, etc. Okay? I want y'all to understand what's going on. You have more than ever the opportunity to copy, if not follow, success. Follow what people are doing, right? And if I just showed you, unfortunately, that if you have middle income, your child cannot get the best healthcare, cannot get the best opportunities, cannot really kind of move forward in life like you want them to. What are the options that you see in front of you, right? It really comes down to management. How are you planning to manage your life and your children's life? If you have not paid attention, we had Dallin Vanderpool from Panama on, and he was saying how he worked in the banking industry. And the more he worked in the banking industry, he would come across people who were literally the children and grandchildren of the people who owned the bank. Right? And so he's sitting here realizing, wow, if I do A, B, and C, it won't matter. This person's already plugged in. Right? They're already ready to go. They already have a direction they're going. What can we do? Right? So nepotism is really just estate planning. All these basketball players and football players and people you see that they're just pushing through the pipeline now in these colleges and making colleges like a show, like, hey man, because really all these kids are need all this NLI money. And that's why the IRS is doing all that stuff for influencers. I told y'all this 3 years ago, and I knew I was early, but I'm still right. And I love it that I'm right. I'm just that kind of person. The tech jobs, the medical jobs, the stock market, the people who really are talking about studying and really actually putting money in the stock market, it's a different type of life. I've got a friend took a $150,000 loan, and I'm not gonna name the stock. You put it on a particular stock, it's an overseas stock, and it's getting like 15 or 16% returns. And everybody's like, oh my God, don't put your money in it, don't do it. You know what? Oh boy did, he don't put his money in it. And he's getting really nice returns all the past 2 years. That same amount of money, if he'd have took it and put it in a home, he'd have got equivalent of rents. But there is a lot of lanes opening up with these phones, with this YouTube, with this internet, with these opportunities. But if you're not paying attention, or you're just looking for confirmation bias, that everybody's doing poorly and everybody's struggling, that's what you'll find. Okay? Right? So even this article from Business Insider's whole website's on people making money, but yet they bring this out. Oh, 7 signs for the recession. Why? Because even the Business Insider is trying to make money off of fear, right? They're educating people, but they're making money off fear, right? And so I'm going to show you this other thing about people making money. Again, let me get out of here. You can look at that article in your own time. Let me do this one thing. See if I get a peek at it real quick. Let me see here. Let me get over there. Hold on one second, y'all. Now, I love some cat on stage. Him and Tabitha Brown, all them, they were traveling in Europe and Dubai and living their best life and releasing books. I love all of it. Love all of it. This is something he said today was spot on. And I got to show it because a lot of y'all think, well, Ericka, I don't know what to make money on. I just don't know if I can make money. I don't know what to do. But let's just get you out of that thought process. Get over here, share the screen. Get over here. Okay. Y'all should be able to see it and hear it. If you can't hear it, please let me know. I'm going to play it twice.
First of all, I'm sad that Jamie Foxx's daughter, Corinne, had to even refute this Rap TV post that said the family was reportedly preparing for the worst. I'm glad that she said that Jamie's been out of the hospital for weeks and recuperating, even played pickup ball. But I'm mad that Rap TV even got this rumor started. So I asked myself, Who is Rap TV? Because they make all these posts about Black people, hip hop communities, this and that. Who are these people that they could get a rumor going like this that she had to refute? And look who owns Rap TV. Does this look like the person you thought owned Rap TV? Didn't look like it to me. Who else works at Rap TV? Let's just take a look. I went down to the LinkedIn. I said, well, who's over here? Who's in charge of the post? Well, look who we got here. Look at the head of content. Look at Griffin Fromm. Wow, he's the head of content for Rap TV. Look at Jordan Mordini. He's the head of music partnerships at Rap TV. Look at Logan Stout, operations manager Rap TV. Look at Tyler Perry. That ain't the Tyler Perry I thought would be associated with Rap TV. Why are people who look like this whole business, Rap TV? Look at their Instagram. Look at their posts. Look at the faces of the people on the post. Look who they create stories about. Look how many followers they got just on Instagram. 10 million just on Instagram. On Twitter, they go viral all the time. They are apparently, according to them, the biggest hip hop community in the world. Daniel Snow's been a proven expert that's launched viral e-commerce brands himself over the course of 3.5 years, generating close to $50 million in revenue. Off of who? Off of what? These are the people behind Rap TV. And I'm not saying rap is only for Black people and Black culture, but they're creating stories that are false. Got the actual family of Jamie Foxx saying, oh man, this ain't even true. Who is starting these rumors? And look who it is. Now, I love Jamie Foxx. You know, I'm scared for him, praying for him, but I'm waiting for the family to say he's okay. But every day we got to deal with rumors like this. And then Rap TV gonna post her post and act like they aren't the ones that she's responding to, because it's just content to them. It don't matter what happens, who gets mad, none of that stuff. It's just content for them. They use that content to get brand deals and partnerships because we follow them and we click on them, and they profit off a culture they didn't create. They benefit from it. And their top 10, 15 people on their LinkedIn, I don't see nobody who looks like a rapper. Come on. First of all, I'm sad that Jamie Foxx's daughter, Corinne, had to even refute this Rap TV.
Hold on a second. Okay, I apologize because listen, you're not a fancy studio. I didn't reinvest all monies back into making a studio where I could be cool. I will be having some video recordings this week in the studio, but that wasn't my focus. My focus was how much real estate can I buy, how much land can I own, and how many family members can I put on. I have my own issues, my own programming, my own stuff I follow, but I wanted to show y'all that last. Why? Because there are people out here like, why are y'all posting to YouTube and posting to Instagram and all this stuff? There are people making whole companies out of posting photos of Black people with questionable title topics, and their company made 50 million in revenue. And look at their LinkedIn. These are people. This is why when y'all argue with me about LinkedIn and pushing back on little stuff, I'm just laughing. I'm like, a lot of the guys group I'm in that has bought 33 mobile home apartments, and they're building new construction homes, apartments at this time. I'm in their investor group. Everybody in there is like 80% of all the people in there are corporate America people who get paid 100 to 250K a year and more. There's some people who are vice presidents and all that stuff. And all they do is when old boy brings us out, hey, I need another 50K. Another 75K, here's the documents, here's the perspective, here's the data, here you come check out the property, you come use it. They just cut a check. Right? Because it's just more income coming in their pocket. And in 3 to 5 years, when Lane cash out refinances the properties or sells the apartment complex to someone like a Grant Cardone or a BlackRock, they get paid their money at 100% returns. Not only do they make the 50 back, they make the 50 back again, and they get interest payments until it gets paid. This is why I talk about, if you're going to be on this internet, you're going to be spending 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 hours doing hangouts. Really create a company. Really go hire some young people to all day and night do the Instagram. All day and night to make the blogs, right? When people say, oh, blogs are dead. No, they're not. When you Google half these news stories, they're blogs. Right? That's why in my digital real estate class, I'm literally telling you guys, there are people who were in dire straits. You know what I'm saying? Dire straits, and literally 6 months later, because of digital real estate, Whole different life. When I brought on Malik Carter, and he sat there and told you he lost 100K or 6 figures, let's just go there, in his stock portfolio without flinching, without crying, on about his day, but made so much more. This is what I want y'all to focus on. If you're gonna get mad about the guys making content on minority people, look at the actual company. What does the company do? They hire, this is where I get frustrated, but they hire people. They're gonna pay them $2 to $3 grand a month, and they're gonna be out there just pumping out content. Look at Say Cheese. Say Cheese is owned by a black dude, and he's had to move multiple times because of rappers threatening him. Threatening to rob him, threatening to shoot him, threatening to do this. Y'all are not running up on rap, the other rap channel. You're not running up on Vlad TV with that same animosity, same anger, same I'm gonna beat him up, I'm gonna do all this. But you do it to the Say Cheese guy in Dallas, who's had repeatedly had to move, has a whole staff, and y'all still beating him up. Okay, so again, if you say, Ericka, what did I learn out of this today? Old money just means management. And the more you move up the ladder, and you'll pay attention. Look at him, 500. Did the surgery, lost all that weight, and is now moved into what? A management role. It's a management role. Listen to the stuff they're saying on their videos. They are now angel investing. They're buying franchises. They're doing other stuff. Right? They're doing other stuff. Y'all not listening. So y'all looked at the G-Wagons. You looked at the goofy stuff. You looked at the wow stuff. You completely missed the whole time that these people are building up whole little offices, right? The girl from Curl Bible, right? She's got a whole staff running that thing. She's having babies chilling. They over there in Europe traveling. The original OGs of this is Kim Icon and her husband Mike Icon, and that's Ikoon. They sold hair extensions. This is why when black men be like, black women wearing hair extensions, be laughing, because I'm like, you do realize one of the wealthiest girls out of the hair extension phase was a Middle Eastern girl, mostly white, but Middle Eastern. And she was able, her and her husband, to sell all this stuff. Mimi Icon, I've talked about her plenty on this channel. Pull her real quick. Now, if you go look at their life, since they've sold, they live in London. They do summers and winters in South Africa. You know, they sell what do you call those books? Those planners. They really sell planners. Like I sell some planners a year, but they really sell like thousands of planners a year. This is the last one right here, and I'm gonna read y'all comments and get up out of here because it is going exceptionally long. So this is them. You would think, man, they owe money, Ericka. Like, oh my God, they're traveling in Europe, and every summer she's talking about this stuff. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. They're snowing in the Alps. They're from Canada in New Jersey. They're from Canada in New Jersey. I kid you not. If you actually watch their story, it's quite entertaining. It's quite educational. I remember them coming up and asking Gary Vee what should they do, and Gary Vee's had an answer for them, but you could see Gary Vee was like, oh no, they making money. Gary Vee had to take him aside and talk to him because he realized, y'all making $10 million a year off hair extensions, white girl hair extensions. Y'all got the network, the connections. Okay. Y'all might miss what I'm saying, but at the end of the day, this life came out of them hustling really hard for 5 years, using staff, and then selling the company. And then taking that time and do what? Look at us living. Ignore the fact that we're from Canada and New Jersey. Look at us out here. We look like old money in London. Do you know what I'm saying? Do y'all understand how people are using these digital platforms? Like they make real money and then they take it and be like, oh, we're just out here living minimalistic. Yeah, I could live minimalistic too if I sold a company for 10 mil. And then have a reoccurring money come in yearly and sell about 1 million planners. I could do that too. Okay, so again, let me read some of y'all comments and get on out of here. I don't ever want y'all to think I'm being salty on anything. Yes, white girl hair extensions. That's why I laugh when people be like, black women gotta stop wearing this hair. And I'm like, girl, bye. They knew but have an old full of money for exactly. They look like a Ralph Lauren. They really do. And you would never know he was from New Jersey. Like when you see his mom over the years, she is even kind of embraced like the new aesthetic, right? Like her family's in Canada and they look like, Canadians, right? But they escaped from their country to get there, religious prostitution, all that stuff. But he is from New Jersey, right? And if you see, like, his mom is just like New Jersey, right? And so again, over the years, the mom has bought into it as well. So it's nice to see. All right, let me come in here and see what these comments are real quick. Family offices. I have 2 good friends that manage to work family offices and deal with managing estates and money for family. Yes, it's very lucrative. Because what happens is, if you watch any of these shows, Succession, Bridgerton, any of these shows, you do have a child at some point who's just lazy. They're lazy. They won't get right. They won't be productive. And that could be just generational. That could be a lot of stuff, right? So, again, Bob, what I tell you earlier, same thing I mean now. You can book a consult call. That's not the conversation for today. Okay, let me see. He said read 30 minutes a day. Diamond Dave said read 30 minutes a day. Yeah, I'm just telling y'all. I literally pay $12 a month to a Business Insider. I come over here. I read at least 10 good articles about making money and what people are doing in the making money space. And then I read 1 or 2 articles on negative. That's how I balance my day out, y'all. I go, okay. Right? Like when Pearly things were happening, I think I was overseas in Panama. When some other drama on YouTube happened, I was in Hawaii. Some other drama was happening, I was in another state, another country. That's why I laugh. People are like, oh, what do you do? I'm like, just living a good life. Okay, so anyway, let's keep going. I got an interview at a SaaS AI company Monday. Wish me luck. Hey, Anton Johnson, listen, I'm going to do a whole series of videos for y'all. Your girl's a tech person at this point. The LinkedIn will be updated soon. I mean, if, somebody show me where on paper somebody's going to give you $220,000. Easy money, y'all. Anyway, I'm going to keep moving. VA is so important. Saves so much time. Yeah. Even Pinky Blinders, good. It is very good. Thomas knew he had to make the family legit to survive. Yeah. Like he had cousins and family members who were willing to do prostitution and shoot up places and sell illegal liquor forever and beat up people at the racetrack forever. Be gypsies forever. Let me see. Okay, here we go. Yes. There you go. Richest man during the pandemic was Bernard Arnault, who has 5 kids on board of his company. Which owns LLV. Anyway, his kids can't sell their shares for 30 years. There you go. You think the yard thing's bad. My cousin had an app ideal and I offered him $15K to get it started and it'd be a 50-50K split. He said if he's going to do all the work, he should keep all the money. Man, let me tell you, the number one thing with Black people, I can't tell you my ideal. You got to sign this NDA. And I'll be like, all right, dude. I always tell them, cool, dude, like just, I don't know what that is. My mom done sent me a virus, y'all. Lord Jesus. Oh, Lord. I think she sent me a virus. Okay. This is the comical part when you literally tell people, hey, I'll be your sales or I made fulfillment. We can't be both. The book, what you should got your cousin Donald Watts? The book called Traction. There's a visionary and there's an integrator. You can be a visionary, but if you're a broke visionary, you have to sell shares of your company. And that was his mind. Well, if I'm going to do all the work, I should get all the money. And this is where people fail. This is where businesses go bust. This is where they close out because you realize, like, to this day, right? I'm managing projects that are unprofitable, but it doesn't matter. We see them to completion. We close them out and we go about our day. I'm managing projects that are going to be extremely profitable. I'm doing paperwork right now for a company and doing paperwork for a bid project. So there's going to be a lot of review of me right now. What people don't understand is you do not get all the money if you don't have the, like a lot of times people will feed me their ideal, Donald. And I go, do you have money to pay a person on staff for the next 6 months? No, I was just going to do it when I get off work. That won't work. Because 9 times out of 10, you'll be too tired. And then your kids and your spouse and Netflix and the newest show. And, well, I got to go on vacation. You need a person with full-time energy. Period. But anyway, that's a shame on your cousin. Right? That's right. Thank you for the 49 super chat. Thank you. I appreciate it, Edmund. Thank you for the 99 super chat. Hello from Newport News, Virginia. Thank you for all you value. Thank you. Thank you. Quiet luxury. They said what kills me is their old money is actually Long Island old money. Southern old money dressed different. Very different. How to marry into old money TikToks are hilarious. Here's the funny part, and I'll tell y'all this like right off the gate. Go to the top Ivy League schools, be in proximity, and be nice. That's it, right? People are trying to sell you a lot of stuff online, and what you're gonna get is Earl, who works at sanitation in his 50s, and that's okay, because you probably Rebecca, who's in her 30s with a kid. Work in your level, work in your proximity. As long as a person is willing to grow with you, then that's all you should worry about. Learned about her through the homeschool community. There you go. Folks, old money and uber wealthy are two different things. Listen, Tara, the biggest thing I plan on doing this year is showing y'all the farm and showing y'all some things I have accomplished, because I think it's important to see the face of it. So old money aesthetic is just minimalistic clothing marked as sophisticated and having money. Let me see. I really don't understand how people fall for this type of marketing all the time. Like, these folks are obviously rich and foreigners from 1800s that stole everything they have. Oh, Lord. Secession is based off Rupert Murdoch's family. It could be, but there's a collection of families in New York who've been long-term no money. Like, let me just be very honest. When I show y'all kosher money, and it's usually they're showing families from Brooklyn, Jewish families from Brooklyn. Let's just go there. And the Jewish lady is like, hey, you should go look at Tampa. Do you know, me already was like looking at Tampa 2 years ago. And then when another Jewish lady off Kosher Money said about Chattanooga, Tennessee, I'm like, I've been looking at Chattanooga, Tennessee for 6 years because the group of people I'm with talk about it. The group of people I'm with invest. There's a black man named Reggie on Instagram. Y'all see me post his posts all the time. He's been building in Chattanooga for years now. Years. I've been like, hey, Reggie, don't forget about it, man. You get an extra land lot. If you get an extra this or that, hey, I got good money, right? So what happens is people who are looking to move money around usually are in the know of the next greatest thing. That's why when y'all said, well, what made you choose Panama? I mean, groups that's been talking about Panama, the numbers and the data made sense for them to go to Panama because the younger Jewish generation has nowhere to invest in New York. Just go that way. I'll just say it like that. So they're looking for what? Places in Florida, as they always have, and places in Panama. But we'll just go there. There we go. With a setup like that, how do you prevent money managers and family offices from stealing from the blind? Ellie, Bernie Madoff. This is a great point. You should at least be well versed in some of the conversations, some of the things that are happening. Prime example, Kevin Bacon. That's right. Movie star Kevin Bacon and his wife, Cedric, how do you say her name? She was on Criminal Minds or whatever. The show on TBS, right? So she really created that show. What y'all understand about that show is she created that show, and Kevin Bacon did a bunch more movies because Bernie Madoff stole like 50 million of their dollars. But that's okay because Kevin Bacon and his wife, ever since they've been acting in the movies since the 80s, since they were in their 20s, have asked for executive producer roles of every single movie. They'll take less money acting if you give them a share of the revenue on the back end. Every single movie. Earl Ray Jones, the biggest story ever is the dude who played Darth Vader. They were like, look, we're running low on money. Can we give you some of the shares of the franchise, the movie franchise? Star Wars. Can we give you a percentage? That's why Earl Jones ain't been one of them black actors begging to work. He's been good. Okay. Kevin Bacon is very well knowledged in real estate and other business ventures. So he owns other franchises, other things, but he was at least versed enough to be like, man, these returns are good, but now it's starting to be off. So yes, smaller family offices, you shouldn't put all your money in one family office. 2, you should have some diversification. Again, like I said earlier in the slideshow, I'm talking about farm, land, some little old buildings in the city, all kind of stuff. And yeah, again, most people, at this point, what I tell people is You'd be hard pressed to get me to buy something that people are making. I drove by a construction site the other day. I'm like, this is crap. Just build it myself. With the rise of AI, I cannot let the next generation get on. You can't. This is the funny thing, Esther Bennett. I'm really serious, y'all. Y'all out here with this. Oh, my kids gonna get it out the mud. Your kids are gonna be homeless on the street if you don't have some type of plan or something for them to manage, or you're positioning them to get a trade where they can fix stuff with their hands, because America will need things fixed for the next 100 years, or some type of trade where they're in a position to win. Ooh, ugh. What's up, Marlon? Right. Exactly. If there's one thing old money, like that guy despises, they can never truly espouse coming from the bottom and raising to the top. They can work hard, but they can never claim that struggle. Never. That is what I keep telling y'all. They gonna put go read Glenn Beck's book Broke. It's got 400 cliff notes of documentation, books. I mean, so many people are like, well, it's Glenn Beck. Y'all miss whole like very clear instructions because you don't like a personality, right? So get on that. Thank you, Nerdy Entrepreneur, for that super chat. Yes, they are. They are some of the best traders. Okay, I had to block the user, but I think I already blocked them. Thank you, Diamond Dave. I appreciate you. Yeah, they were selling. They were doing all kinds of stuff. The whole Congress should be in prison, man. This, okay. Everybody, recession's coming, North Carolina. Recession's coming. North Carolina passed the white gravy. Oh, you know. You already know. Yes, $50 million in revenue. That's what it made. That company made. They literally tell the crimes they commit on Valley TV. Literally. Mm-hmm. Literally. Yellow. Hi, Ericka. If I want to open multiple business account, can I have more than 2 PayPal? Yes, you can. Again, some of y'all be asking questions. You need to super chat that. Kara Cedric. Yes, Kara Cedric. There you go. James Earl Jones. Thank you so much. That's right. So anyway, you guys, thank you so much for being here. There's 292 people here. Thank y'all. Drop a 1 in the comments if you've liked the commentary so far. We're wrapping this up. But again, a lot of this old money aesthetic talk is just the pendulum swinging back. More people would like to desire that. How can I relax? How can I live a life of leisure? And no one wants to do the sacrifice and nobody wants to do the management. So I'm running into more and more adults who are in their 40s and 50s having children late because they spend all their youth kind of building up their reserves. Even the young lady who has the multimillionaire RV park in Tennessee, Blankenship, I forgot her first name. She's pregnant with her next child. She has 4 children. She has 3 children from her first marriage that she divorced out of, made millions of dollars, and now she's getting ready to have her 4th child. It's very common. The more you see these wealthy stories, right? They have a family and they have more children. Meet Kevin just did a show the other day talking about another woman pregnant, right? Like he's trying to play on words, but him and Lauren have so much money. So what she's having technical difficulties having babies, they are paying a surrogate and they'll probably pay like for 3 more kids because Meet Kevin and them have next level money at this point. Really, really next level. So it's up to them to lose it at this point. So I hope this was helpful. Hope this was entertaining. If you see me the next couple weeks, I will be taking some more time off because we have projects we're working on. But we do have some great videos coming up. We worked with a lot of great sponsors to bring the next series of videos up. You're going to love them. We talk about some really great stuff in tech jobs where you may get a tour of an office, several different things I'm working on. So this is your girl, Ericka, from the Classy Con blog. You guys have a wonderful Friday.